Hey guys, it's Vanity Ezel back on Cardfight Vanguard Ezel the Vanity weekly review. If you guys enjoyed, don't like, comment, subscribe. Sorry. So this is my last Ezel the Vanity reveal that I'm gonna do before my 1.5 week stay in Japan. So the next two Ezel the Vanities, I'll be in Japan. Hopefully I'll actually record them. We will see. But anyways, let's start shall we? Because honestly, we have a good amount of reveals this week, and we're also gonna get Minerva as well. So let's start shall we and see what we have. First up, we have Closed Hand Dragon, Great Tunes of 5k shield, 10k base. So it's the Dark States Persona card that gets extra critical. All the rear guard when attacks into a Vanguard Persona. This turn gets 10,000 power for the battle, and if you're still turn more cards into by putting a copy of it from your hand into your soul, it increases or decreases critical to 2 for that battle. So double crit pressure, 20k swing as long as you persona have 10 or more soul. You're playing Dark States, odds are, unless you're playing one of two very specific Dark State decks, you're going to end up having that 10 soul, so it's a solid like 2 attack if you want it. Following that, we have Gear Puppy of Rendering Service. Great on boost Fat Cast Shield, AK base, continues rear guard to guard circle. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, and your opponent's drive check or damage check revealed a trigger unit this turn, it gets extra 5k power, 5k shield during both pairs turns. So 10k shield, 13k base is great. And again, it's always the generic cards that have really cool arts because that dog, for being robotic, looks so realistic. Like, this is a shame that this has to be a generic card, but honestly, it's really cool. So 2 or 3 of just for the art alone. Moving on, we have a new card for the Stoahasia line, Rapturian Ladybug. Grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 10k base. Auto rear guard when you play a Codex order. Energy blasts 2 until end of your opponent's next turn. This unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects and she'll get 5,000 power and 5k shield. And that's every time you play an order, so as long as you have the energy for it, you can keep giving her numbers. And Stoahasia allows you to play 2 orders a turn, meaning she'll be a 20k, 15k shield if you choose to use her ability twice. And then auto rear guard at the end of your turn, if your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater Stoahasia, retire one of the rear guard, choose a Codex order from your drop zone and bounce it back to your hand. So cool. We've had a lot of cards from Stoahasia that allows you to pull Codex orders from deck, but not a lot that can recycle from drop zone. Great, this has the ability to sack off another rear guard that isn't herself, recycle your order, and still have the extra shield and extra power effect. So honestly, not a bad grade 2 at all. Eats into energy, which I don't think any of the Stoahasia cards actually into except for maybe one other. And again, recycles your order. So very soft 4 for her. Like, that's a good support card. Next up, we have Wrap Fluffy Shippy. Grade 3 to 9%, 13k base. Auto rear guard, when she attacks in anything, she'll get 5,000 power for the battle. At the end of the battle, retire her, or if you play an order this turn, you may put her to soul instead, a mandatory effect. So on the bright side, no matter what, she's a free 18k. Downside is no matter what, she's going to die at the end of that battle. On the upside though, if you play an order, she's a soul charger, so not a bad card to have. I can't think of any generic Stoahasia decks that would really want this, but if you're ever playing budget, well, there's your generic swinger, so not a bad like 2 over 3 depending on your deck. Moving on, we have Surging Assault, Great on boost, 5k shield, AK base, auto rear guard when she stands by your card ability, energy blast 3, choose one units, other units, and that and this unit both get plus 5k for the turn. Okay, not bad because it takes care of the problem of multi-attacking where sometimes you got to pick a booster, so at least it increases your numbers by 5k. Though in my opinion, it's not worth it because the first few decks that can come to mind that do involve restanding in Stoahasia all cost energy in some way, shape, or form, and you'd rather spend the energy on those cards. But not a bad grade 1. I could definitely see it being useful for Flagberg if Flagberg ever gets a grade 4 and or an evolution that can stand stuff, just saying, but that honestly depends on that, so 2 over 3 of. And then we have Inflame Line. Real quickly, before I continue, I just want to let that be a point that typically when Bushy does things like this, like sets like these ones, the ones that aren't like main series sets, they tend to leave a deck that's secret up until literally the week of, like they did with Venus. To be fair, they did do that with Minerva. We didn't know that deck was going to exist until like a week or 2 ago, so it could have been Minerva was the set deck secret surprise, but I really hope it's randomly Flagberg. If it is, I will cry tears of joy because it's so deserved. Anyways, we have our gold Paladin units now, which I don't know how people take. Anyways, Inflame Line, Great on boost, 5k shield, AK base, auto back or rear guard circle when your other unit is placed on another rear guard circle, staying calm as it during your battle phase. If your Vanguard only has 1 clan on it, energy blast 2 stand this unit. So cool. It can stand itself, but only paying 2 energies on your Vanguard the same clan, so it can be Royal Paladin, it can be Gold Paladin, it can be whatever Paladin it needs to be, it'll still proc off. And then auto rear guard at the end of your turn, if you have a grade 3 greater Vanguard Ezel in the card name and your unit was placed from deck this turn, you may put this card to soul. Cool. Ezel can run into a soul problem, especially if you're spamming a lot of CB and you want to use your soul on Din Drain, so therefore you can send this card to soul on something that's placed from deck that turn. It doesn't even have to be itself, which makes for a very good grade 1. I wouldn't say more than 3 of it because honestly Din Drain does its job a lot better. However, if you want to be able to have extra Din Drains on hand, it's a solid 2 over 3 of. Next up we have Slash Feather Dragon, grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 10k base, continuous. If you have a grade 3 greater Vanguard Ezel on the card name, it gets all the following. Auto placed on rear guard circle, counterboss 1 and perform either draw a card or choose one of your incandescent light and blonde Ezels on the Vanguard circle and increases your decrease over 2 for the turn. So basically if your opponent gives you CB, when you superior ride with Bowman and make Ezel lose a drive, you can either increase his drive to 2 or every turn after that you just get a CB CB1 draw a card, which isn't too bad. Then auto rear guard, when this unit attacks into a grade 3 guard unit, you may have it get 5,000 power for the battle. If you did, at the end of the battle, bot deck it, and then you may entry box 3 draw a card. Again, not bad. It helps increase the hand, and it does still replace itself while also giving it 5k. But we have much better targets for Ezel that can bot deck themselves than that, especially with Dendrain as well, especially because this card is a vanilla until you do ride an Ezel. Which, to be fair, you're only going to ever not be on an Ezel for one turn, but my point still stands. It's a good card, but I want it more than a 3-up personally. Then we have our new grade 3, the evolution of Incandescent Lion Blonde Ezel, and that is Blazing Lion Platina Ezel. Grade 3, 2.5% on 13k base. They brought back his skill in a way that I like, because I really wanted them to use the Platinum Spirit Pact skill, aka Ultimate Break from OG Platinum Ezel, Counter Boss 3, all your rear guards get 5,000 power. I don't like the V iterations of the Ezels too much, so I was really hoping they would take more inspiration from the OGs, and I feel like they did. So Continuous Vanguard Circle, if your soul has Incandescent Lion Blonde Ezel, this unit gets all their continuous abilities, all of their auto abilities, and plus 2k active on both players' turns. This is the first official revival of cross rides in D. The reason why I say first is because we've had cards very similar to it. We have MLB who had like the continuous plus 2k, we have BB and BD in the soul, but that's technically not a cross ride. PBO got the extra critical, but that's not a cross ride because cross rides give 2k. And Dragonic Overlord at the end didn't have it because it only gained the 5k during your turn. And then I'm pretty sure the Blood and Maelstrom are the same. This is the first one that has that power up during both players' turns, so it is actually a cross ride, and it gets all of the abilities of the original. Not like, oh, how Blood and Maelstrom did, where like their abilities were retrained. No, Platina actually full gain their abilities. I mean, Maelstrom kind of gained the abilities of OG, but not all of it. This one actually does gain all of it. And then act Vanguard once per turn by either counterbossing one or putting a grade 3 guard to Ezel from rear guard to soul, which you can do by superior calling a lot. Choose a Reign Supreme King of Beasts from your drop zone, put it in your hand, and this unit get 5,000 power for the turn. So either get a free soul or CB1, and it's in 20k base for the turn because you probably have OG Ezel and soul. Then if your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 guard, perform all the following. This unit gets continuous Vanguard, all your farm rear guards get plus 5k for the turn, so pretty much it gets that grade 2 promo skill, which can therefore stack. And then if you have 4 more cards you damage on, he gets an extra crit for the turn. So double crit pressure, 5k to front row, and it also gets 5k to himself. Honestly, not a bad grade 3 at all. Does really good for getting soul. It does still require waiting for your opponent to be at grade 3, but at least now if you do go first, you're not waiting too long to aggro down your opponent. You can still get an order, get board presence, set up soul, and still kind of pressure down your opponent with bullying. And again, that 15k does make the difference in very specific magic number guarding situations. So not a bad grade 3 at all. I love Platina Ezel a lot. I think they brought it back in a really cool way. Is it enough to put Ezel at the top? Hell no, but I think it's a nice addition, so 4 for me. Moving on, we have Supply 9U. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear guard once per turn. When your other unit is saying combat as it attacks, if your card was attached by your Vanguard's ability this turn, aka the Silhouette Arms, you may have that attacking unit get plus 10,000 power for the battle. If you did at the end of the battle, at the end of the turn, retire this unit. So it's a way to retire itself and give itself extra power to force the opponent to have to guard more. And then auto drops on the beginning of your battle phase. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 guard to Silhouette, energy boss 3, call to rear guard, so give it 5,000 power. So cool. Gets stuff extra on board, allows you to attack a little bit more. Not a bad grade 1. I don't think Silhouette needs this too much, to be fair, I haven't looked at Silhouette in a while, but I wouldn't put it more than a 3 of. Well, and now we have Disher Rock Hopper. Grade 2 5k shield, 10k base. I will never understand why this card with this name is a penguin serving ice cream in presumably a random like 7-Eleven variant that is just flying through the galaxy, but whatever. Auto rear guard once per turn. When the set order you played from hand is put into your order zone, check the top 3, choose up to 1 set order of the same card name as this card in your order zone, reveal it, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So basically, check the top 3 for the card you just put into your order zone, or any card in your order zone, really. Not a bad grade 2. I don't think it's necessary, especially because it only talks top 3 and we have better order searchers, but it's a solid 2 if you need budget. Moving on, we have Stealth Dragon Raisin. Great chance at 5k shield, 10k base, a nice social doji card. Auto input from either deck or rear guard circle into your solo by your card ability. If you have a Vanguard social doji in the card, you may bind this card, so ways to get extra bind zone cards. And then auto when placed on either rear guard circle or put on guard circle. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 guard or social doji, it gets plus 5k power, 5k shield, and if it's put on guard circle from bind zone, it gets an extra 5k shield. So shield plus, power plus, not a bad grade 2, though as we just saw with this unit and with this one, it seems because Bushy is aware of it, they only support certain decks in certain sets. Like for example, all the crit cost epic stuff, Sojo Doji, Arkwright, so we're probably gonna get an Arkwright card very soon, Silhouette, Mythiarchs, etc. They only support them in all of the side sets, so every 3 sets, which means a lot of sets they'll just throw in random one-of cards for some reason, and the decks only get that one card until maybe the next 3 sets where maybe they get an evolved form of some kind. Like, because for example, Sojo Doji, the last time I got support, I don't think it was Dimensional Transcend. No, Dimensional Transcendence was the set. So set 3, because they didn't get jacked in Generational Drag Genesis. So it's like 9 sets later, they get a random one of. So not a bad card, but it just only proves my point that they only support certain decks during certain times, which can make some decks fall behind. On that, we have Jaguar and Morshed, so the Dragon Empire variant of the Grade 2 with the ability to gain critical, which I feel like is arguably the hardest to pull off. Grade 2 instead 5 Kishido 10k base. Auto rear guard when this attacks to a Vanguard. If you persona over this turn, he gets plus 7,000 power for the battle. If your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, eat a hand card with the same card as the thing into soul to increase the decrease critical 2 for the battle. Okay, my issue with this is, yes, Dragon Empire does have a lot of generics that retire rear guards, but not a lot of Dragon Empire decks focus is to retire rear guards. If your opponent has 1 or less rear guards, it's probably because you willingly murked off a rear guard of theirs and they just chose not to commit a board. It's not the worst. I just feel like it's the hardest to pull off because nothing is stopping your opponent from going all in on their board, and a lot of Dragon Empire decks can't deal with that unless they're running a lot of generics. So it's not a bad one, but it's not my favorite. This is the 2 of 1 for me. And then we have Avidy Slaper. This card is busted for some reason, but whatever. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto when placed on rear guard circle from the hand. You may reveal a copy of Purgatory Dragon DD Favrenil, the OG Favrenil essentially, from the ride deck. If you either revealed a card or your Vanguard is that Favrenil, Soul Blast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Grade 3 graded card Favrenil on its card, and currently the evolution is the only thing that applies to that. Shove it to Soul and shuffle the deck. So the one thing that was stopping the new Favrenil from being good is that it wasn't a guarantee you could get the new Favrenil in Soul. This hard gives it to you for 1 Soul. That's it. Why not? And then auto rear guard, when it boosts to grade 3 or greater, it gets 2k for the turn. Then if your total grades of the dark states in your soul are 13 or more, choose you to give 5k for the turn. Yeah, of course, yeah, that ability doesn't have to be busted. That's fair, because just a free deck search is good enough. I do not need to explain why this is good. Easy, like, okay, 3 of if you're confident that you're going to hit it often enough, 4 if you want to guarantee, because you hit one of these, you're automatically good to go. Next up, we have Danger Juggler, grade 2 instead 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear guard once per turn. When your opponent's rear guards are retired by your Vanguard's ability, Energy Blast 3, Soul Charge 1, the 2 Vanguards, and both that unit and this unit get 5,000 power for the turn. So, cool, increases Vanguard's power, increases this thing's power. Not a bad grade 2, but again, I don't think you really need it too much, but however, it is there for Favrenil, so it's not too bad. So, 2 of tech if you want to run it.
And on to our last reviews for the day. First up, we have our Knowledgeable Eagle, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear guard. The ability to boost it. If your Vanguard only has 1 clan, you may put this card into your soul. And auto when it's soul blasted out for the cost of your Vanguard's ability. If your Vanguard only has 1 clan, soul charge 1. Pretty solid because, you know, Minerva constantly costing a soul blast of 3 is kind of iffy. So being able to not only get you a free soul blast out of it is great, but also when it's soul blasted, it can then replace itself. So you actually have access soul that you can use. Not a bad grade 1 to have in the deck. Though depending on what the rest of our support is, it's kind of 50-50 for me because we already have a lot of good soul chargers. So relatively 2 of for me personally in the Genesis deck. Then we have Magic of Clarity Bibene, grade 2 instead 5k shield, 10k base, so it continues with your Vanguard as a Genesis. She'll belong to the Genesis clan, so therefore she'll be proccable for Minerva's discard cost. Although if your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater with Minerva in the card name, it can also be paid with Energy Blast 3 with this cost. When placed on rearguard circle from the hand, if your Vanguard is only a Genesis, either Counter Blast 1, or again, if you're on the grade 3 or greater Minerva, Energy Blast 3, draw a card, and then choose a card from your drops and put it to your soul. Cool, so not only does she replace herself for being called by getting you an extra hand card, but at the same time, she then sends a card from drops into soul to therefore again, get Minerva's soul blast cost up. And then finally, auto rear guard, and then if you're when you're grade 3 or greater Vanguard Minerva and its card name attacks, if your Vanguard did not stand by a card ability this turn yet, Counter Blast 1 stand her and she'll get 5,000 power for the turn. Honestly, not bad, because it just activates when the Vanguard attacks, regardless of the opponent's Vanguard's grade, so you can proc this off while your opponent's at grade 2. So if you're willing to spend the extra CB, you get an extra attack out of this, and she'll get an extra 5k too. Honestly, Bibene is not a bad grade 2 at all. It gets you hand cards, it gets you soul cards for basically only 3 energy, which is refundable literally every single turn, and for 1 extra CB, you get an extra attack while also being a Genesis unit. That's an easy 4. I don't have to explain why this is good to you. And of course, our last card would be Ultimate Regalia of Almighty Minerva, grade 4, triple drive, 13k base. This card cannot be ridden by other cards other than by its a card ability. And if your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, it gets all the following. So it continues Vanguard during your turn. All your front row gets 10,000 power, so pumps the front row up by 10k, so literally free persona ride every single turn, so that's good. Act Soul, bind a Omniscience Regalia Minerva on your Vanguard circle, and put a card from your hand into your soul to superior ride this card as stand, regardless of a grade. Well, actually, you do you'll have to wait for your opponent to be at grade 3 for that, but still. And then if you put a card whose clan's only Genesis is into your soul for the cost, and you have not ridden during this ride phase, you also get continuous Vanguard. All your former units get 5,000 power, and to end of turn, at the end of your turn, retire this unit and ride the card bound for the cost as rest. So cool. It's basically a free stride, which is something I was about to say. I feel like the extra 5k skill is going to be kind of iffy just because it would only proc for the turn that you do place her, but the 10k procs as long as she's on the Vanguard circle, and then because you're constantly rewriting OG Minerva, you can then superior ride new Minerva and get the power. And the best part is, because this can be proc during the main phase, you can use OG Minerva skill first to deck stack and then superior ride this Minerva, which is pretty good. And then finally, auto Vanguard once per turn when it attacks into anything by counter blasting 1, soul blasting 3. At the end of the battle, she'll stand this unit, and then she'll also lose 2 drives. So you still get the extra Vanguard attack, however you get more consistency with the numbers. All around not bad at all, and in fact you no longer have to worry about discarding a Genesis from your hand because that cost was included in her main phase skill, which to be fair also isn't required. It is only required if you want the 5k. All around, very solid grade 3 or grade 4, get you the Persona right to front row, get you a triple drive, and then also its restance cost is technically cheaper. So not a bad grade 3 at all. I like it a lot. I think they did a really good job like upgrading Minerva in this form, so a very solid like 4 of, because you want to see her as much as possible. And finally, we have a key visual for the Divine Z's Deluxe Finals, which I like how this looks. It is literally a like kind of a 1-to-1 but with different characters of the original deluxe series of just season 1 visual, because we have Michiru back here, we have Suo, we have Mirei, we have Erika, we have Megumi, we have Ruka, we have Kagetsu, and we have Akina. I'm so proud of myself for being able to remember all the names on the top of my head like that. But honestly, I love the color scheme. I think it looks really cool, and I cannot wait for the series to start actually next week, which I'll be in Japan for. So I think I know what I'm going to do in Japan. So without further ado, I'm going to see you. Oh, it's July 5th. Never mind. Okay, I got to wait another month, but my point still stands. So I'm just one here. I hope all of you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join us for Twitch, and I'll see you all next one to set up your Vanguards.